Hi, I'm Kelly McKenty. Welcome to Cover2Cover. On this episode, we welcome Devin, Cuddy, and Natalie Hughes. Devin Cuddy is a singer-songwriter from Toronto, Ontario. His debut album, Volume 1, was nominated for a Juno in 2014. His newest album, Dear Jane, was released in November 2023. Devin will be performing a cover of Highway to You by Natalie Hughes.
I saw a car on fire out on the highway to you.
Peterborough's Natalie Hughes is a singer, songwriter, and pianist. Her fifth and most recent release, Uncover Me, is a rework of select songs chosen for their common themes. They pay tribute to the 20th anniversary of her sophomore release, One Girl. Natalie will be performing a cover of Devin Cuddy's song, Dear Jane.
Oh, dear Jane, I hope you get this note. Wish we could do this on the phone.
So welcome, Natalie Hughes and Devin Cuddy to Cover2Cover. It's such a pleasure to have you both here. I'm so excited. We're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about songwriting and your albums. I know you are both incredible artists and songwriters. And one of the things that I've been really curious about is sort of your earliest memories of music, or things that you remember, or maybe how that's kind of shaped maybe what you listen to now, or what you play. Devin, maybe you could start us off.
Sure. Well,
Earliest memory?
there was a lot of music in my household growing up, but my earliest memories would be of picking through sort of CD collections and finding jazz, Louis Armstrong and early New Orleans jazz, and listening and being connected to it right away. And then from there, trying to connect that to playing and learning and, getting over the forced scales that you have to learn on the piano and all that stuff.
Sure.
I don't know that I have a flash single memory, but it's that, it was that sort of trying to tie what you hear and it creates a reaction in you into being able to sort of do that for yourself.
Absolutely. And Natalie, what about you? What, as far as an early memory or an influence or something like that?
Well, I think just having my parents both play a little bit.
Yeah.
My dad, liked Chet Atkins and Elvis, and we had a good stack of records. And my mom was more folksy.
Right.
She was like Cat Stevens and John Denver. And so, and for some reason, they let me play the records. I was pretty gentle, so. But I can just remember my dad bringing home this hi-fi system and this giant set of headphones, and having it on and just listening. And I was probably singing, where no one could hear the music but me. But
Sure.
And my mom too. She was always very generous around just letting you make a mess, basically. So she would hold chords on the guitar, and she would let you just strum, and we would.
That's so nice.
Yeah,
That's a nice mom.
Right. It was okay to get messy. My dad and playing around campfires and things like that. And obviously, it has nothing to do with the piano.
Yeah.
But the piano just made sense to me as soon as I put my fingers on it. We got an old piano in the house, and it made more sense to me than the guitar.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you share that similarity as well? Like as far as piano goes, when you sort of sat at the piano, did you know that was the instrument you wanted to play?
Well, we were forced to take lessons at first, so no.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean in the sense that it makes more sense. There's something sort of, I don't want to say simplistic because that's not the right word, but like the buttons are all laid out, You press one and it makes the noise that it's assigned to.
Absolutely.
So I think there's something, it's intimidating.
Yeah.
It's big. You can't see it all in one,
Yes.
kind of viewpoint.
Yeah.
But I think I share that. Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, musicians are influenced and inspired by so many different things, everyday life, events, fiction, story. Are there musicians that really influenced your music? Natalie, maybe you could start.
Well, no surprise. When I got to my early 20s, I found Tori Amos. And I literally remember listening to the radio. I lived in Ottawa at the time, and they did like a spotlight where they played the whole record. And I was like, what is this? Like I the next day went to get it.
Yeah. You just fell in love with it.
I don't know why, maybe just being exposed to whatever was in the house. It never hit me before that, like, you could do that. You could just do that.
Right.
Just you and a piano.
Right.
And, you know, you didn't have to, it didn't have to be a songwriter with a guitar. It didn't have to be, I don't know. It just was like, I need that. And so, and then the truth of it, and that there was a lot of, it was very raw.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think I needed that. I needed somebody who was just laying the cards out. And I think that was it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. Tori is pretty
Yeah.
fantastic.
And of course, since lots of other
Sure.
things, but that was like formative for sure.
Yeah. What about you, Devin? As far as musical influences go, what sort of?
Well,
like-
after sort of my jazz phase, I started getting into country music, and Steve Earle was a big part of that. And then when I was trying to sort of tie all that stuff together, I really started getting into Randy Newman. So his playing style, and also sort of the way that he brought California and New Orleans together in this way that I thought was really sort of inspiring, and something I was trying to aim for. I think the band did it as well. I was influenced by that, where you try to sort of sew all these different styles and regions together into your own thing. So I think that was sort of what I drew from the most, tried to replicate as much as I could.
So Natalie, you did something very unique recently with an album. Would you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure.
Okay.
2 summers ago, I guess, I was thinking about, I was inspired by some music I was hearing, some recordings I was hearing that were a little bit more stripped back and had a little more space in them. And I hadn't recorded for a long time. And I had started to realize that it was 20 years since I had put out the recording at the time that I worked the hardest on, that I was the most proud of. I was young, and we did the best we could with the equipment we had. We totally self-recorded, self-produced, you know.
Amazing, yeah.
And I was sad that I didn't feel like we could put those on streaming or kind of do anything with them anymore. I was like, here's this little group of songs, some of which I have left behind, and some of which I had not played for more than 10 years. And I thought, I'm sad that I'm leaving these behind. And maybe I can revisit them and bring them kind of to who I am now. It's 20 years later. That feels like a good full circle thing. Yeah. And so I approached James McKenty and asked, you know, hey, do you want to work on this project with me, kind of thing, and gave him a couple of bites of things I'd been listening to for direction on where I wanted to go. And so we just set up some sessions and started. And it's been a long time coming, but I'm actually covering my own songs, basically.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
It's very Taylor Swift of you.
Oh.
I love that.
Yeah, there it is. But yeah, I'm covering my own songs. We did not listen to the songs again. So I didn't put the CD in and go, how did we do these? I actually just went, okay, which songs do I remember that I want to take forwards? I didn't take them all. Yep. And I didn't listen to them, and I didn't let James listen to them either.
Amazing.
I just well, let's just bring them to now.
Yeah.
And
not with any expectations.
No expectations on it at all.
Yeah.
And I'm not really wasn't really doing it for anyone but me. Yeah. So so those are ready to go. Yeah. So very exciting.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. And I love when people are just making art for themselves, because sometimes that is the very best art, I think, in my opinion. And Devin, you had an album come out, Dear Jane.
That's right.
In last year, 2023?
Yeah, just at the end. Yeah, right at the end. Yeah.
Okay. And will you tell us about that?
Yeah, so it was a record of stuff that I had sort of for a long time, since before the pandemic or COVID, whatever. Right. And it was probably going to come out right around the time that all that started. And then I didn't want to put it out during the time, because we like to tour when we put stuff out, and it just sort of gathered dust for a couple of years, as did sort of everybody a little bit.
Yes, everyone had a little dust.
And so then I sort of put it all together and added a couple things to it and put it out as a record. And I didn't realize sort of how relieved I would feel for some of the stuff that was recorded over 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
To come out, and it's been going well, and it's sort of a collection of different songs and stories that don't have a through line necessarily through it.
Yep.
And very happy and ready to do more.
That's great. So neither of you know which song the other person has chosen. Am I right? Or do you know?
Nope.
Okay. So Natalie, would you tell us which song of Devin's you chose and why?
Well, I chose the title track, Dear Jane, and I thought I really liked the simplicity of it. And I think I liked hearing something like that from a man's perspective, just kind of, you know, that walking away piece. And I also felt like it would be interesting to take it even more, well, we'll see what you think, but I've taken it to a more mournful place, I feel.
Interesting.
Yeah, like,
Okay.
is the person even still on the planet? I'm not sure. But anyway, I was feeling a little more, yeah,
Okay.
mournful about it.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Would you play that for us?
sure,
Okay.
sounds good.
Great.
Oh dear Jane, I hope you get this note. Wish we could do this on the phone. 'Cause there's a line through every word I wrote, trying to say I feel alone. I know you went out there to do your part. When you left, I should have known. And here's what I should have said from the start. I won't be there when you get home. Oh dear Jane, it's true, I love you so. But it's been so long since that time. It's not that I don't love you anymore. It's just I'm moving down the line. Oh dear Jane, I know that you've been brave. I can't imagine what you've seen. They just keep coming wave after wave, and then go back to where they've been. Oh dear Jane, you'll find somebody new. No, you never like to be outshone. When this world it is all done and through, I won't be there when you get home. I won't be there when you get home. Oh dear Jane, farewell for now.
That was fantastic. Amazing, amazing performance. Devin, what is that like for you to hear Natalie play your song?
It's very cool. I mean, anytime you hear somebody sing your words, there's something sort of thrilling about it. And I have very seldom heard them sung by a female voice, and that was a very cool experience, and especially for that song, which I made a choice to sing from the male perspective, even though that was less common in the days that those letters were written. And it was really sort of, I don't know, surreal in a way to hear it sung that way. It was great. It was sort of, in my mind when I wrote it, that was the other side of it, you know, right? And so it was kind of cool
Yeah.
to hear that outside of my own brain. Yeah.
That's very cool. So, Devin, you chose one of Natalie's songs to play today. Which song did you choose and why?
I chose Highway to You, and it was because I really enjoyed the pace of the song, the groove, and the way that it was presented. I was very drawn in by the imagery that I think that you sort of put in the minds of the listener. I thought that it just took you to an interesting sort of visual scape that immediately caught my attention, and I wanted to go there sitting at the piano and doing it myself. So
That's exciting.
That is exciting. Will you play it for us now?
absolutely.
Okay.
I saw a car on fire out on the highway to you, and blowing snow did nothing to slow the flames as they grew higher. I saw a backyard burning in my dream that evening, and the phones went out and the wires came down. Nobody tried to save it. I smell bacon in the morning, eggs and toast and homemade jam. My camel mind, your absence, my eye, changed your mind without warning. Kill a fire, kill the spark, unaware of what I'm driving to, out on the highway to you. I'd gotten coffee while driving out on the road away from you, and the bitter sweet of your company. Once I'd had your partner, and the blowing snow did nothing to slow flames as they grew higher. The flames as they grew higher.
Natalie, what is that like for you? What was that like to hear Devin play your song?
Yeah, it's an honor to have someone find something in my catalog that meant something, and they wanted to play it. So I think that was super cool. And I thought actually it felt even more. It felt more haunting hearing it from someone else. It felt really sad, and yeah, I mean, I feel like I feel the feelings almost more hearing someone else sing it.
Right. Yeah.
And it really brought me back to where I was when I wrote it. I loved it. Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you for doing that.
Pleasure. It was an honor. Yeah.
Thank you both so much for being here today. I had the best afternoon, and thank you for letting us ask you all of these questions.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank
Pleasure.
you.
Thanks for having us.